Okay, June the 16th, we're rolling. And yeah, here's YouTube here. What's Air India? Yeah, what is a rat? Fly with Magner. Okay, it's a good listing of what is the rat used for. Both engines fail. Both engines are running too slowly. Total loss of hydraulic pressure. Well, that could explain why the total loss of electrical power detects loss of power to C1 and C2 TRU. I'm not sure. On approach, loss of all four EM and loss of either left or right side flight controls. Loss of both PES primary cooling. Okay, lost hydraulic power. So that would explain why the landing gear didn't pull up completely. And there's indication because of the angle of the wheels that it was trying to lift, partially lifted. I'm questioning, is that what the bang was? Maybe from this rad dropping, or when the wheels drop back down, maybe? Lost hydraulic pressure? How come? Okay. My
cooling loops. The rat does not have enough power to pull up the landing gear, even if it's selected so. From the findings so far, it becomes clear that something went wrong with the engine.
So the landing rat does not have enough power to pull it up. Okay, here's another YouTuber. Okay, no, I am not a pilot, but I noticed something from other industries that most people even within that industry, whether it be trucking, railway, shipping, aviation, or whatever, think basically within the box. They're not thinking outside the box, how to even make things safer. Railway, my son's with CPKC. You talk to them. And different people. Steel wheel on a steel rail is not good emergency braking. Japan does a lot better with their high-speed trains. Why? Because they're thinking outside the box. Trucking. I put mirrors on the front corners to turn them to the front to even see if a kid was in front. Years later, more and more people do this. Until somebody does something outside the box. Now, I know for a fact, Boeing Air from Canada, why was that company chosen by Americans to take Americans off of Antarctica in the middle of winter years ago? Why? Because I asked the daughter at the oil show, Boeing Air, was everything on that plane totally FAA approved? She just smiled. That's how her father built the company. He pushed the limits. He was operating in cold northern Canadian climates, and he put stuff on the plane for cold climates. Oh, sure, most of the time it'll work without. Okay, this is what they're doing. The guy from Swiss Air, his YouTube had a little bit of a different take on it. Okay, but most of the people doing the YouTubes here are pilots. They know what it's supposed to operate, how it's supposed to operate, what's on the plane. Here's some advertisement. You get this off right away. Okay.
No. Today is Sunday, June 15th. I am back in studio, and after
There
Air
we go.
India Flight 171, I have gone on a deep dive to bring us the latest information. We're going to be showing
Now,
why the flaps were indeed deployed for
there,
takeoff.
I saw this last night. and I'm learning this YouTube stuff. Did too many short little ones yesterday. Hopefully this one won't go on. They actually blocked me because I did too many short little ones. You're only allowed so many in a day. Okay, fine. Here, this one 3 hours ago, not just a crash here. Okay, you can go through the different ones.
Why has Air India 171's crash theory just changed? RAT footage sparks new questions. It was supposed to be...
But not something I noticed just watching. I think the pilot was still trying to fly the plane. He didn't slam it right into the building. He skidded across the top. The tail end came off. Skidded onto the grass. If he had a little bit more assistance from that plane, I think he was heading to the river, trying to land maybe in the river. I don't know how big that river is, or find an area to land in. Okay? He knew about the Hudson River, the famous gully on the Hudson River. Yeah, I said that when 2 Canada geese took out the plane. I want more engines, not less. 747 was still being flying with 4 engines. They used to have even 3 to go across the oceans. Now? Oh, they got them better. Well, apparently not good enough, is it? Okay. They lost both engines. We're not 100% sure yet, but that's probably maybe what happened. Okay. Some suggesting too that maybe Boeing, all these 787s should, maybe the FAA will take the lead in the U.S. and say, hey, until we find the problem, no more 787s in the air. Okay. Was it terrorism? Hey, things are going on worldwide. Who knows? But could they not have a laser in front of the plane to take out the Canada geese? I believe they could. It comes down to dollars, doesn't it? Okay. Could they not put big gyro blades on top of the plane? I believe they could. They land military tanks, or how heavy equipment with the military, pushed out the back of the plane. They land it with parachutes. Deploy a couple parachutes off the top. The plane's not going to land as hard, is it? People might have walked away. Okay? If the plane hadn't exploded, there would be a lot more survivors. Maybe.
Taking off from Ahmedabad to London.
They're all talking about what went wrong. We need to also be looking at what can we do to make it safer in shipping and everything. Where was the tugboats that hit the big bridge in the U.S.? I actually talked to ship captain. He's out back in the coast on Vancouver, BC, and Nanaimo, BC now. Yeah, he told me he got in troubles. Management companies were telling him to let the tugboats go. No, not until I'm after the bridge. Okay? You know, it's so much easier to blame the pilots, I know that's in trucking industry. The train missed one light because nobody on the train and they need to go to the washroom. Well, hopefully they don't miss a traffic light, right? Well, give the conductor something more to do. They can fly a drone down the track on a little dolly even. Okay? Check out the track. Give the train time to stop. Okay? No, they don't do. George Westinghouse, air brake, the history lesson here. The companies didn't even want the Westinghouse air brake. Hey, that was over 150 years ago. We get complacent. Well, most of the time it's working. Most of the time people aren't getting hit right at Calgary City Hall. There's no cross arms for the traffic. None. Why? Well, most of the time it's okay. Hopefully nobody hits you on the ice and pushes you in front of a train with no old-fashioned cow catcher even. The hitch will come right through your car door. One police officer, I suggested I'm not having my seatbelt on down there. Why? My seatbelt's going to hold me against the door? I don't think so. Okay? The pedestrian gate at the new library is not magnetically locked. Most of the intersections downtown Calgary don't even have cross arms or pedestrian gates. Hey, that's only a block and a half from CP Casey's main office. You think CP Casey does anything outside the box? The Swiss Air guy, you should find that. He shows planes being boxed. Like, and one guy comments, well, the military planes are boxier because they want to haul equipment more. Okay, they need the bigger back end. Everything else so they can shove the tank out the back end and land it with parachutes. Hey, they figure it out. Us, we're like, they all look almost the same, don't they? One guy commented, he says, well, they're not square. No kidding. It's a hyperbole. The preachers don't even deal with it. A finger dipped in water is not going to quench a fiery thirst. We think too much in the box. Okay. Go back to the other one. I don't. 12 minutes.
A recent shift in the insurance market
there
means
we go.
adults born between
We'll go
1945
back to
and
the-
1985 can now
To this first
The
one.
crash of Air India 171 has left many searching for answers. What caused the tragedy? Did the crew retract the flaps prematurely? Could it have been an act of sabotage? Was it inadequate maintenance to blame? The bird strikes a factor? Or was the cause something completely different?
Well, I'll tell you what happened. Everything on the plane is not functioning 100%, right? You carry a spare tire for what reason? Because you don't often have flat tires, but just in case. You have things. I met a truck mechanic. Okay? They happened to be aviation mechanic. They were told to sign off on an aircraft in Yellowknife, Northwest Territories. They waited on their own time and expense to tell the pilot to take it around on the tarmac for a good run before you take it up. Pilot came in and said, I can't fly that plane. Yeah, this is happening. So they said, well, it's at least with the truck, you're hopefully get a mobile repair out or a tow truck to tow you back in or something. Okay, it's not quite as serious as with the plane. Yeah. So not everything on the plane was running 100%. Do they have things on the plane? Yeah, they got the little rat. Okay. So why not put something bigger on top too?
Hello, aviators. How are you today? My name is Magna Nordal.
Greg's. Here, I'll go this one.
Greetings, this is Greg. It's been a couple days
There you
since
go.
the Air India crash, and we now have enough
They
data
put
to
big
review
radar
some of the
stuff on
speculation that's been
military planes.
and often by
Great big radar on top. Don't tell me they can't put something on top of these planes. Big gyro blades that fold back. Most of the time you don't use them. Get them folded out. Self-rotation. You still got forward motion. It'll help keep... They had big gyrocopters crossing the English channels years ago. People complained about being too noisy. That was prior to jets. Okay? You know, figure it out. She should have made it more quiet. Figure it out. You know, we had lots of plane crashes when they first... People thought they would never fly. The Wright brothers finally did it. And they weren't the ones with all the money either. Some plane company could say, maybe WestJet in Calgary, Alberta here, we're going to make our planes safer. We don't care if it's from the factory or not. We don't care if it's FAA approved or not. The FAA approvals, how come there was no cameras on the bottom side of the plane at Washington, D.C.? We have cameras on all kinds of vehicles now. They only had a warning. Traffic, traffic, traffic. Well, that's nice, but where's the traffic? And they were told to trust the tower? Yeah, I guess they shouldn't have trusted the tower. Now they're all dead. They blame the pilot. What? Okay, that plane happened to be made in Canada. Okay, I believe. How come the companies don't put it on? Is it because FAA approvals? The guy took people off of Antarctica. Not everything on that plane was FAA approved. How come the gyrocopter in Salt Lake City, after the brother died, they probably used it as a promotion during the Salt Lake City Winter Olympics? What? Now they're being built in China? Okay. Good. I saw some big drones being made in China at the energy show, oil energy show in Calgary here. There was one unit there made in Quebec. I don't know why Quebec's more into aviation. Okay. It had a range extender. You could burn a little engine. Could run for 5 hours. Okay. So, hey, good. The Chinese are good at copying stuff. Canadians tend to come up with stuff. But no. Canada didn't even want to finance a telephone. That's why the U.S. ended up with a Bell telephone. Like, get the history here. So maybe some other country will come up with this idea, or some other company will just say, hey, we can do this. Okay? I'll give you my phone number. There's my phone number. Okay? A little bit of theology on this one too. 100 days about for Feast of Trumpets, September 23rd. Okay? We need to think outside the box. We need to try to make things safer, not just go by the FAA approvals. Okay. Yeah. They've figured out how to make the jet engines more reliable, but hey, if it was a DC-9 with a back engine tail, well, tail got ripped off, but that back third engine, maybe it would have been running. I don't know. Now they got a little auxiliary power unit. They call it APU on trucks too. Okay, auxiliary power unit. But the little rat rotates is not enough to keep the plane flying. Well, why not have something on top enough to keep it up longer? It's already in the air. Well, helicopters now, apparently they can disconnect the top rotor so that it has self-rotation. Why? Gyrocopters actually do this, but the military wanted something to totally hover, so there's lots of politics in why helicopters became more popular. FAA approvals, the company had home-built kits because you have to get around all the liabilities. So now they're made in China? Really? Lots of politics behind this stuff. Yeah, I knew a guy that worked with a small gyro company in Saskatchewan. Home built almost, no, they started building bigger. Flying lawn chair. Goofing around. It's like a motorcycle. You goof around and kill yourself on a motorcycle too. You don't park them all. Well, guy got killed. And the company folded. Why? Why? Well, that's unfortunate. Boeing's going through the real hoops now. Hey, maybe in the long run they would be come out and say, hey, we're going to park all our 787s until we figure out why this happened. But no, they're just hoping somehow it'll magically go away. Wave the magic wand, the problem won't disappear.
Here on YouTube.
Well, it's not
These
going
are
to
that
disappear.
pilots fail.
Okay. Okay, so that's my take on this. No, I'm not going to pretend to be a pilot, but when the plane crashed in San Diego, I saw the water tower in the background. Our grandson is in San Diego. There's my Filipino wife. Her son had the maths from the Philippines, the top of the class. Electrical engineering technologist or whatever. So now he's working in San Diego, upgrading electrical. Those contracts might all end. Okay, on and on and on. But I saw the water tower. He didn't even know about it until he called me that night. Yeah, we're going to be fixing their power line. Gee, I didn't know you own a power line down there. Yeah, the plane hit. Why? Why was the plane so low and hit the power line? The weather beacon wasn't working. I heard that on one little YouTube report. Okay, so look it up. Weather beacon also gives a altimeter reading. Okay, so it's not working. So the plane was landing, and 2 people only on a private plane. How come it's national news? Mainstream media is doing a number on you. National Transportation Safety Board numbers are actually lower under Trump than Biden. We got a known felon in Calgary, Kananaskis G7 summit now. My wife actually saw. They were at the airport. Okay. Hey, how many Americans avoid paying all the taxes? Like this guy. Okay, I don't know what this is. Promoting something else. Canadian share their experience how to earn $900 in one day. There we go. I don't know how much. Maybe we should do this. How much clickbait? Mr. Carney's promoting stuff. I don't even know if that's Carney or is it AI. Bin image. Trump's son was singing a song. His lips wasn't moving to the coordinated with the music in the song. It was AI. Okay. But the plane crash being reported, this is more international news because, hey, it could affect any of us. So, if a police officer gets injured, killed, well, that's national news. Everybody's got to travel across the country. Like our counselors here in Calgary, Alberta, had to go see their king in Ottawa. Really. Most of them probably don't even care about the Monarch. But the one guy, he likes it. He's a House Speaker now. He was responsible for the fire code in Alberta here. Yeah. Photoelectric smoke detectors will go off 30 minutes sooner from our ionization, very toxic lithium battery fires. Norway made it mandatory 3 years ago already. Well, good. So why don't we get our act together? One more line in the back of the Calgary fire trucks. Upgrade to photoelectric. See, most people think people are dying here. Well, didn't they have a functional smoke alarm? Yeah, but that 30 minutes for 50-year-old technology of ionization, okay? And the carbon monoxide should be at your ankle level on your furnace room. See, most Americans way down south don't even have a furnace room. You have no basement, do you? So we do here because the pipes have to come in 6 feet underground. Up north, permafrost, another whole story. Okay. Very hot conditions here, but no, I think that's why the rat went out. Plane was already in the air. Okay, something that went wrong with those engines. Yeah. So, already in the air. Why can they keep it in the air longer? Not just a little rat underneath. A great big rotating gyrocopter blades on top. How are you going to fasten it, Mr. Aftermarket Airline? I don't care. Put great big ratchet straps around the whole belly. Have a parachute front and rear, so when, just before you crash, you eject them off so you don't land as hard. Okay? Figure it out. Okay? Lots of times truckers can put stuff on top of another load. We were triple decking the pipes and stuff coming out of Houston, Texas. That was another story. The guy's gotten paid big money. Then when he wasn't making his money, you want to cut me back on my pay. So I switched off the cruise control near the top of the hill. He thinks he's getting better mileage on cruise control going up the hill. He says, "What are you doing?" I said, "Watch this." And I slipped it into neutral even. We coasted over the top of the hill. We didn't have to strain to try to keep it up full speed. You don't know what's on the other side of the hill anyway. Okay? Save your brakes a little bit. If there is something. No. Super trucker. Some pilots are super pilots. But do they really think outside the box? I rather doubt it.
Pilots took off.
The manager even asked me how I was getting all the mileage with our own semi-truck. I said, there's ways to get mileage. See, most people farming the weather, I figured out how to get 2 lentils in each pod from a guy from Norway. He only had 40 acres there. In Saskatchewan, you just buy another 40 acres, another 400 acres or whatever. Who cares about every little high yield? Well, I did. I doubled the yield.
We know from the 2 grainy videos we have of this.
See, most people are not thinking outside the box. Say hello, Melinda. She's not. She's being shy this morning over there. She's an accountant. She's home here today. Well, we need accountants, but it's like the thermometer. It records where you're at. The thermostat sets the temperature. What are we doing? Making bean counters. You're going to save 40 or 50 bucks an hour by not having a conductor on a 2-mile long train. Really? Downtime is critical. Got somebody to assist you. Have somebody there when you guys go to the washroom. The guy flying a plane, he's got his own private little plane north of Calgary out, Didsbury Municipal Airport. Front and rear. Hey, I'll put a plug in for him right here now. Okay? He was a commercial pilot. He told me what? He didn't even want to let the co-pilot touch the controls, but he says he can't fly all day without going to the washroom. It was on autopilot. Autopilot for years. It assists the pilots, Mr. Truck Driver. Don't be so paranoid. Hey, all my wife had to do sometimes is tell me when the light turns green. The one time she wasn't along, good thing I pulled to the side of the road a little bit at a construction site, only a few miles out of a little town north of Vegas. I intended to stop there, have a bite to eat, washroom, have a little break or a little rest. Construction site. So I pull over, close my eyes. Big mistake. I didn't put the timer on. Flagman came back. Lady. Flag lady. Okay. Tapped me on the door. Are you okay? Yeah, okay. I fell asleep. So those, when they came in with autopilot, were the pilots all paranoid that they're going to replace all the pilots too? Maybe. The big mining truck, $3 million mining truck. People say 1 year payback on the $100,000. That was the problem on the car. Okay? But don't tell me the big mining truck is parked if the robotic unit's acting up. No. Get somebody in behind the seat. Isn't that what the Texas company did now? Oh. Company says, hey, this doesn't work 100% all the time either. So, hey, we'd look at it this way. Mr. DOT going to give you static about being out of hours, whatever. You want to just get to a decent place to have a rest. Okay, on a shower. They don't even have the little buffet coming north in Idaho. Just a Subway sandwich. Why? The drivers don't even have time to take a break, have a shower, and a decent meal? You've taken the entire enjoyment away. We used to call ourselves professional tourists. Hey, drive around, take a break. I looked at the herb farm south of Salt Lake City. Okay? Why? Learn. All the way down in Arizona, Canadian trucks traveling all the way empty. I did this once. I didn't know why for sure. The freight rate doesn't even hardly cover the extra fuel burnt, dragging heavy trucks over the mountains. If we're real heavy, we'd go through Yellowstone Park. No, the volcanoes I checked off. They act up once in a while. The buffalo were running down the highway one way away from the park. So, yeah, we can't believe half of what but we'd stop in West Yellowstone and have a coffee, lunch, whatever. Talk to the guy with snowmobiles and rent a snowmobile and go snowmobiling for a couple hours. Okay? Hey, you want time off to go to your golf course, but the truck driver is supposed to sleep in the middle of nowhere and not have any enjoyment in his life. Guy gets in an argument with the wife or girlfriend, maybe, with the trucking company. He's already in Arizona, so you know what he told him? You can come and get your truck. I'm staying here for the whole winter. What, just other people get to? These pilots, you wonder why they're doing YouTube maybe? They're bored out of their tree. Got their uniform on, so they do some YouTube about something. Something like me, I'm kind of bored on my tree. Okay? Give me something to do. Okay? No. The preacher is too busy playing golf, too busy going to another conference on a Caribbean cruise boat. He just gotten back from Israel. Hey, some are going twice a year. Oh, yeah. These CEOs, they travel around, fly around. The Goyen, the common person, supposed to be, have 2 jobs to try to make meet your expenses. This is where we're going. The share prices on Boeing, I guess, are dropping. Oh my goodness. Maybe they won't be able to stay in some nice warm climate for the rest of the winter coming up. My wife made a suggestion. Well, even the ants save up for winter. I said, well, the ants are just coming out of hibernation in Canada. They go way down deep in the ground, okay? And they hibernate almost like a bear, okay?
Gear down. First of all, I want to say
maybe not in the
pilots
Philippines,
forgot
okay?
to retract the gear, and I don't think they did. But even with the gear down, the 787
Why are the
will fly
wheels
around just
tilted
fine.
up
It can't
like
go
that?
fast, it will burn.
See, they tilt up to get them into position to roll them into the bottom, okay? Now, when it's taking off, figure it out, the back wheels are going to be touching last. So it would be positioned the other way, okay? So angles on the wheels or something apparently. So I'm learning while I'm watching this stuff. But I really don't know why they can't have something on the top. Okay. I'm just, you want to see my mugshot? I'll give you my mugshot. There's my mugshot, huh? Well, don't have as many whiskers as some people, great big hairy beard, trying to look more dignified. Maybe I should do that too, huh? Got these glasses because the bright lights bother me. Get my hat on. Oh yeah, I should shave again, huh? Run the electric over my head. My wife's packing up the stuff. We're moving the end of the month. We've been here for 5 years. Guy never even put a deck in for barbecuing. Put a nice, nothing wrong with the floor. Had to put a new hardwood flooring in. A friend of us even stored a bunch of, I think there's still some upstairs stored there. What? Complains about us, everything. My wife had to go find a plunger after we got out of a big function, where political function, everything. Met all kinds of business people there.
Fuel like there's no tomorrow, but it won't fall out of the sky just because the gear is down. This is an attempt to point blame at the pilots, but even if it was true, it would not have caused the crash.
See, one guy said, it'll burn more fuel, but no reason why they can't fly around with the plane with the landing gear down, okay? The flaps, they're already in the air, so hey, how come they couldn't even keep it into the air? Okay. Here, you don't need to look at my mugshot, okay? This guy's not giving his mugshot good, you know?
I'm relatively certain that something was wrong with the landing gear or landing gear system, and I think I can prove it. Although there are 2 videos of the incident, only one shows the takeoff run, and it's of very low quality. Worse.
Okay. So, Mr. Airline Engineer, Mr. Manufacturer, Mr. CEO of Airlines. Okay. I don't own these things. Okay. Hey, a door blows off. I know what I would have done as a trucker if I saw the door wasn't good. Have a ratchet strap across it and it wouldn't have fallen off. Okay. Is it totally approved? No. There's my phone number. September 23rd. Trumpets. My website, under my name. The YouTube. Okay? So, hey. I'm not hiding. But first I thought it would get over an abundance of calls. No.
The view of the plane is blocked.
This is more safety on this YouTube. I do other teaching about theology, but it's connected because the love of money. Yeah, the love of money is the root of all sorts of evil. okay.
when the pilots rotated the plane.
Come on, we can do better. Get off our duffs and try. Are we even trying? Gonna blame the pilots or what? Here, this guy here. Maybe do a theological thing. No, it didn't happen on Pentecost, okay? Sorry. Just had to put that plug in. Feast of Trumpets this fall. It's coming. What was the April 8th solar eclipse all about? We got all this high technology. We're not solving our basic troubles, you know. Two rocks came from Norway. That's my ex-wife. One wife at a time. Okay. Came from nowhere and banged together, and we have everything. We have planes flying in the air. Hey, maybe if enough crash together, we'll have a better plane after they crash together. Only when we figure it out. Okay? The parts didn't just self-assemble. Maybe with a robot. Okay?
Wheel off the ground. Let's get into it. This is an Air India 787. This isn't the takeoff that resulted in the crash, although I do think it's the exact same airplane. What?
Okay. So they got quite a few of these. Are you going to ground them until they figure out what happened? Maybe they should. Wasn't the one Dreamliner went down? They didn't, and until the second one went down, they didn't finally park them. Oh boy! Do you really blame people for canceling their flights if they're on a Boeing? I flew to San Diego. I was on a Boeing. I thought, well, I prefer Airbus, but I guess it's still safer than 100 years ago. I don't know if I'd do it now until they figure out what the problem was. Okay? Hey, you want to put only 2 engines in a plane? Figure out. The one lady got sucked in. Oh, I guess it's only one lady. You can't put something in front of there to prevent a person from ground crew from getting sucked in. Shame on you. Okay? Put something in there that can be retracted if you need to. Whatever. No. Don't tell me we can't do these things. You think it was the CEO from the company sucked in, or his son or daughter, that they wouldn't change it? The problem is apathy is a major problem, but we don't really care until it hits home to us. Yeah. I said to my wife, I says, would you care more if it was a Filipino plane that went down? Oh. Come on. Let's be honest. The one guy was in the hospital, got hit by the LRT, which is not as safe as any other city. New York chains it even off between the rail cars. And they have washrooms available. Nothing here. Guy gets hit. Why? I don't know all the reasons why. But Minneapolis Airport, like Hong Kong, you can't even go from the platform to the track until the train is there. Okay, so the guy gets hit with the train. He's in the hospital. He actually survived it. Okay? My wife had heard he's Filipino, so the Filipinos go to see him. My wife finds out he's born in Canada. Did she go back to see him again? That makes that big a difference? Oh, well, he's not born in the Philippines. So this plane crash, it's not in the Philippines? Not in the USA? Do we really care about others? No. I tell you, maybe it was in the US, maybe the FAA would have already ruled this plane parked, these 787s. Am I hitting a little bit on the head? Well, the book I read, it says in Ecclesiastics, the preacher's word should be like well-driven nails. The stick, the pointed goad to make the oxen move. Yeah. Maybe they should have a Senate investigation now again. Mr. Boeing? Is that what you're waiting for? Till somebody crashes in the U.S.?
Your trucks work in the
Maybe be proactive instead of reactive. You're just hoping the problem disappears and goes away. That they find out it was some other problem. That's what you're hoping for. Okay? It is a 10-year-old plane, yeah. And why would the Indian company contract it out apparently to a Turkish company? I think a lot of East Indians are asking this question. Like, we got problems with other countries, and you want to contract out your maintenance to a foreign company. Really? Well, I think there might be some answers about that, too. Canada's got problems. Yeah. We let other people protest in Canada way back in history, prior to the Civil War. Chatham, Ontario, had a publishing house promoting civil unrest prior to Lincoln and the Civil War. Sorry, India. We allow all kinds of stuff. There was my wife in the Northeast saw a protest yesterday, some other flag flying, protesting stuff, maybe in the Pakistan war. Protest something in Canada, hear about Canada? Really? They have to be a little careful. They hung the one guy from Montana, Louis Riel, French native. Maybe he had some connections to Winnipeg, French native. They hung him in 1880 in Regina, Saskatchewan for high treason. It's still on the Canadian law books. Leading a rebellion. So they have to be a little careful what they even say. Quebec set a precedent. They have to have a referendum first. Am I hitting home here? Hit the nail on the head. Drive it home. We are all of us are responsible. Take more responsibility. It's not just when it comes home to our doorstep. The next one could be in the U.S., Mr. Senator, Mr. CEO from Boeing. You better pray it doesn't happen. You got problems with your stocks now? To be proactive, not just reactive. Park the 787s until you figure out what the problem was. Hey, gives the ground crew some more time to do maintenance. Maybe preventing this from happening again. But don't tell me we can't put something on top of those planes.
The landing gear that contains axles, wheels, tires.
Hey, the preacher doesn't talk about it. They took the printing press from out under Gutenberg. Took it to England. Printed it 1611. Went around the world. But the preacher doesn't tell it. Did they make any restitution back to the person that invented it? No. Give a donation. And everything's okay now. And we want a tax deduction from an atheistic government system? That doesn't happen in Nigeria and Philippines. I don't know about other countries. What are we doing? Everything's okay. Hey, you can take my idea. If all I'm supposed to do is get your duff into gear to do something, it's your responsibility to pay back some restitution. You don't have to give the lady a tip. Canadians don't like to give a tip. We're not. Americans, you tip for good service. The guru, financial guru, says, give her a big tip and watch her outside the door. Is it about helping the waitress? Or is it about making yourself feel good? what's the guy, guru's name? Financial. Yeah, okay. 50 minutes here. Okay, we're going to end it here. I don't want to drag it out forever, but Air India,
brakes and the truck tilting mechanism.
their maintenance needs to be upgraded too.
In this picture, the plane is fully on the ground, no truck tilt. When the pilots rotate the plane by raising the nose wheel, the trucks tilt to keep all the wheels on the ground. So relative to the fuselage, the front wheels are now down. You should be able to see that in the picture.
See, an angle on the plane.
As the plane lifts off,
yeah.
The trucks tilt to the opposite direction with the rear wheels down, as you can see here. This is the normal gear-down truck orientation on the 787-8. This is how they should be prior to landing, and the plane is designed so that they go to this position just after liftoff, so that if the plane settles back down, you're good. When the pilots retract the gear, and I'll put links to good videos showing gear retraction and extension on the 787 in this video's description. Anyway, when the gear retracts, it tilts to the front wheels down position.
Front wheels down. That's to get the plane, the wheels tucked into the belly of the plane. Okay. If the wheels are down, it would have to raise it higher. This way, they level it out so get tucked in there completely. Okay. So why didn't the wheels retract? But one person said they should be able to fly around all day long with the wheels down. It just burns a lot more fuel. Okay. Well, so why was the plane already in the air? Why couldn't it even stay in the air? Don't tell me we can't put something on top there. People talked about parachutes in planes for years. They've tried different things. Well, figure it out. Okay? The Wright brothers had to figure it out. The guy with the big money, he wasn't the one that did it. This could be a real opportunity for some small airline or some small company to start doing something. Me? I need to be parked. Half my friends are playing bingo, pretending to have dementia. No, they don't want to remember people that help them make the money. No. They seem to have a real good memory if somebody owes them money. Hello.
When the gear is down, it's not normally in this position. That's why I'm putting those video links in the description.
Okay. Anyway, have a good day. Fly safely. All of us, our days are numbered. We don't know when our number's going to come up. Who would have known that one guy would have... The one lady was maybe upset. She missed her flight. Hey. That was a good day. She missed her flight. Okay. Take time. Too busy. The colonies are... Gotta go. Well, I said the washroom's over there. Gotta go. Hurry. To go out. To get killed?
So if the 787 is in flight with the gear down and the trucks tilted...
Take time. I can sing songs about it. Okay. We'll make another YouTube about it, maybe more. Here, bankrupt pensioner. What's he say? Yeah, I remember him. Bankrupt pensioner. That's much what I am. Bankrupt pensioner.
I find it amazing that the early analysis from the airline and military pilots was pretty wrong. I was one of the first to say that all the issues for the Air India incident happened on the runway. The start of the problem was on the runway.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that. Okay. He got it into the air. Couldn't he keep it in the air? I don't know why. Okay. Hey. bankrupt pensioner? I don't know. I think he had some more. Okay. We're not as bankrupt as some people in other countries. The bus driver, he said he had food on his kid's table. He didn't care about the politics. Hey, when you don't have food on your table for your kids, there's a serious problem. Okay. Most of us adults have a little bit of spare tire, you know. I don't think he's as bankrupt as he thinks he is. Okay. A lot of times it's doing... My wife doesn't want to sell her house in the Philippines. Her mother's in New York. What do we need a house in the Philippines for? Cash strapped? Yeah. It's using what you have. Hey, I know people with millionaires with property. They're borrowing on the property values. They're actually going broke. As long as the property values stay up, they'll be okay. If it goes up, they're smiling. They can keep borrowing on property, pay their other bills. How many people are doing this? What goes up eventually comes down. That's what happened here. Comes down. It usually comes down a lot harder than went up.
I was one of the first to state that on YouTube.
So why was no parachutes on the back? Okay, go back. Go back to the other one. I like the other one better.
Are you a Canadian senior who doesn't have a funeral coverage plan?
There's
Can you afford
advertising
as little
for
as
Canadian.
$14.88 per month to protect your
Yeah,
spouse?
Canadians buy more insurance than anybody else in the entire world. Yeah, we're not risk takers, you know. I'm not your average Canadian. My grandfather and uncle were taken captive by Stalin in Ukraine. My grandmother's sister's was in Kansas. We used to take her down there. I've trucked all through the U.S. Been in most states except Florida or Hawaii. I've even been in Alaska. Okay? So, hey, learn. Being overseas some, being in Australia, being in Hong Kong. Book the trade show before you book your airfare. Then it's a business trip. Okay? Maybe you have to buy something at the trade show to justify Revenue Canada doesn't like it. No, they fly over. The government guys and the preachers fly around our dime, but that's okay, see. We got a known felon in Canada here now for tax evasion. What else is new? They put Al Capone in jail for tax evasion. And they couldn't nail him on racketeering. Okay? Lots of Americans know you funneled through the Canadian casinos. Now you show that you won the money when you lost how much of it. But now it's clean money. Okay? What? The Americans know this. But we make a big stink about Mr. Politics. Less accidents now. National Transportation Safety Board under Trump. The actual numbers. I told them, people from Colorado and everything else at the oil show here.
Pilots failed to select gear up after.
Hey, I'd rather talk to the other manufacturers too. Nice robotic unit. I thought it was made in Germany or someplace. Made in little town in Grand Prairie, Alberta. I don't know. It's a city, I guess, but it's not very big. Way up north. Most of the Canadians live with only a few hours of the American border, if you don't know that. Why is it so dry up north? The Mexican volcano was going off. I checked it this morning and didn't see a listing for it. And the wild mushrooms grow a year or two after the fires. Follow the money. Follow the money trail. Tells you lots. Mr. Boeing. How come you don't ground this? Are you waiting for one to crash and another one to crash? Maybe the FAA will do something if it crashes in the USA.
For takeoff, and or that the pilots took off with the flaps in. I'll start with the landing gear. We know from the 2 grainy videos we have of this incident that the gear did not retract and that the plane...
Okay, why didn't it retract? I guess that little rat doesn't have enough power to put it up. It has some hydraulic power, but they reserve the hydraulic power for controlling the rudder and everything else of the plane, okay? Hey, I came very close when Alaskan Airlines dove one into the ocean. Yeah, they parked them all. Entire fleet. Alaskan Airlines. Hey, there's just a little lack of maintenance at the back rudder, you know, not a problem. Took out the servo type gear or something in the back end. They put me up in a hotel in San Francisco. They didn't really tell me why. I didn't learn why until years later. I'm watching Mayday, the TV show at the truck stop. I was dead tired. I'd only worked how many hours? 14 hours or more. Hey, drive down Barlow under 20K, you're not recorded to be driving. Man, we're fudging these electronic logbook stuff anyway. Okay? It's all good, huh? Company wants something done. So I'm dead tired watching, and I found out why Alaskan Airlines were grounded. I was in Australia, wanted to take a train from Sydney to Melbourne. I have a little tour on a train. Trains were parked. Oh, I didn't find out years later until there was a train wreck in Australia. I was almost on that. I've been that close to different times. One plane I was on, we're taking a little longer to get up. The guy was all frustrated. I looked at him and said, if something needs fixed, let's fix it while we're on the ground. Yeah, okay. Other guy, the plane was diverted. My wife worked at the airport, YYC one time. Yeah, you know why a delay is sometimes? Some passengers being checked out. When we went overseas, the guy never got back on the plane in Toronto. Oh, really? Wonder why. Guy never got back on the plane in Hawaii either. He was sitting right beside me. We were filling out the papers. They diverted the plane over American airspace. Landed the plane. Took him off. Yeah, he was one not happy camper. Okay, that we were landing in Hawaii. Landed in Korea. I went on tour around. They wouldn't even let me out of the airport. Okay, that was on the way to, I think, Australia that time or something. Little penguins in Melbourne. Okay, it was a 4-hour sailing on a regular ferry to Tasmania. Tascat ferry. Saves hours. BC ferries are carrying major debt load from the government's big Make Work project. Okay. Hey, you barely get on the ferry from mainland to Vancouver Island. Get upstairs, get in the lineup, get in the queue, have some lunch, and you're practically there already. Okay? They save something like maybe 20 minutes. Whoopee-doo. Okay? It was not a far enough trip. Hey, these planes are very efficient when they're in the air. They could do better on the ground, maybe. But once they're in the air, there's no reason that plane couldn't have been kept in the air, even if they lose power. Yeah, not just as a glider. Self-rotating gyrocopter, big blades on top, rotating around. And if it's going to crash, have some big parachutes, front and rear, go up. Okay. Why do I care? Well, maybe I'll be on one of these planes again. We got to get a new passport. I lost my Last passport. Okay. Why? Oh, thank you, Canada Post. My driver's license was in the mail. I had to use some photo ID. And then I lost my passport. Okay. Thank you, Canada Post. Hey. What do they say? Things happen. FUCK in the UK is KFC. But don't say the F-bomb word in Canada. That's a big no-no. We can say GOD all we want. JIC? Hey, but don't discriminate against somebody else. But we can say whatever they want.
Plane went in with the gear down. First of all, I want to say that even if the pilots forgot to retract the gear, and I don't think they did, but even with...
Okay. Over an hour here. Have a good day. Bye-bye.